Hi everybody, it's Anna with the design team, and we are going to be working again with our January Deco kit and doing another little project that I hope you guys find interesting and useful. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making this little Post-it note holder. You can see inside we have some Post-it notes that don't seem to want to stay in there very well. Anyway, we are going to make one of these, and it's going to be a little bit different. Well, the papers and whatnot. So let's get all of our supplies. I have already cut everything, and I will tell you what the measurements are, but I will also post those measurements for you so that you don't have to remember them. So you are going to need a piece of cardstock, and you can use any cardstock. We're just going to use some white. That's what most people have. And if you have one of our older Deco kits, there should be some cardstock in there. If not, you can pick up, a couple sheets of cardstock at any craft store, or if you think it's something you'll use a lot of, you can get a package, either 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12. You're going to cut it up, so it doesn't really matter what size it is. So we are going to have one strip that is 8.5 and by 3.5. And then I used papers from our Deco kit and a bunch of other stuff here. We don't need the stickers. So we have one piece that is 3.25 by 3 inches. We have two, I don't know why I have an extra piece here. I wonder if I didn't use one on my other one. You should have two pieces that are 3.25 by 2.5. And you should have two pieces that are 3.25 by 1.25. And then I do just have a 1-inch strip of cardstock that we're going to use. This right here is called a belly band, and we're going to use that 1-inch strip. It doesn't matter how wide it is. I just cut 1 inch because it made sense. So you have a strip of paper than that. So we are going to score this paper to make it easier to fold. You can use a scoring board like this, or you can use a scoring blade on your paper trimmer, or you can simply measure with a ruler and mark it with, if you were to measure over and mark it with a pencil, you could then hold your ruler up against it and fold it up against that. I have this, so this is what I'm going to use. So we're going to score this at 1.5 inches. Make sure it's up against there. You're going to score 1.5 and then 2 inches. And then 5.25. And the way this works, it has all these little grooves in it. You don't have to have one of these though. And then at 5.75. And I will have all of those measurements for you, the sizes of the paper, as well as where you have to score it. So we are going to take this, you know what? That cut right through there. That's interesting. I'm going to cut a different piece of paper because that is not going to work. This is the same exact paper I just used for the other one that I made a few minutes ago. And where's my paper cutter? I did not do that. I'm thinking I used a different tool. I don't like this one. That's the one that came with it. And I don't think I like it. So let's just cut another strip here. This should be 8.5 by 3.5. And this is just a really basic paper trimmer, but you can buy a scoring blade. And what it is, it's just, it doesn't have the sharp blade on it. It has a kind of a dull piece of metal. and it will score that for you. So let's try this again. And we're going to use my bone folder instead because it's thicker. So I'm thinking it'll work better. I hope. This is, like I said, this is the same cardstock I just used on the other one. So, all right. So 1.5 and 2, 5 1/4, and 5 3/4. Yeah, that did not go through, so that's good. So this is a bone folder, and what that does is it helps you make a sharper crease. I think I used it in the last project I did. It does not look like it folded straight. Interesting. So we're going to get these folded, and this is really very, very simple to do. And I'll tell you, the video that I watched, you can actually use different types of closures on here. You can use little Velcro dots, and you would just line that up and put your Velcro dots underneath. Or you can use small magnets, and I actually ordered some magnets because I thought, well, those would be handy to have. Well, they came and they were almost an inch across. I'm sure that's not what I ordered. But anyway, so we came up with an alternative using the belly band. All right. So then we are going to take our papers and we're going to decorate this. So this one, I put the plaid on the outside, and then you can see the inside, I put the flowers, which I really like. We'll just put the flowers on the outside just to be different. All right. So basically what you're going to do is just open this up because it'll be easier to work with opened up. And we are going to attach these papers. You're going to put this on the outside. And we're just going to do the opposite of what we did on the other one. And again, you can use any tape runner. You can use any double-sided tape you want. You can use liquid glue. I know a lot of people that really prefer a liquid glue. I have not used a liquid glue very much. But I keep thinking maybe at some point I'll give that a try. I like the ease of using a tape runner. I will be honest with you there. Sometimes though, if you get a really shiny paper, it doesn't always work well. So this on the inside is going to stay empty because it's, no, I meant to, I meant to put the plaid on the inside. We'll put the plaid on this side. These are all made to coordinate, so it doesn't really matter. I was just going to do the opposite of what the other one was, just because. So I'm going to put this one on the bottom. So when you put these down, you're going to have a little bit of a border all the way around. So should we put the plaid on the outside? No, we're going to put the flowers. Maybe we'll put the plaid on the back. I like that plaid. It just seems so cozy for winter time, you know? It reminds me of a flannel shirt, which is nice and cozy. Now we have a bigger one that will fit on the back here. And maybe we'll put that plaid on the back. Just mix things up a little bit. Make it fun. And that's what's so nice about these kits. You know, you've got the double-sided paper. You can use whichever side you want. You can do all the same side. You can mix it up and have, you know, different sides. You could use all four colors if you wanted to on here. We have the pink with the polka dots and the snowflakes. You could use that if you wanted to as well. So I need another Post-it pad. I love these purple ones. It doesn't really match. Now you can go get Post-it pads anywhere you want. Any office supply store. I think you can get them at the dollar store, Amazon, wherever you want. I happen to have a lot of purple ones. So you can attach this several ways. It didn't stay in there very well with this. So we're just going to try attaching it with the adhesive on the back and see if that works. That seems to work better. This one, I used some tape on the back, but then it didn't want to stay in there. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it didn't want to stay. See, now here's a problem I had with this other cardstock. It has a white center, and when I folded it, the white shows through. So if you're going to use colored cardstock, you might want to look for one that does not have that white core. All right, so we have this all made. So again, you can do a couple of things. One thing I think I would do, I might not make that opening quite so, if you can see inside of there, there's a lot of extra space. And this is a pretty thick Post-it pad. I think in the future, I might reduce this, maybe. I think it's a 1/2 inch. I might make that smaller. I don't know how thick the Post-it pad is. Now I'm curious. I think it's probably a 1/4 inch. Yeah. So next time I might make that a little bit smaller. So you would just reduce the length of your paper or whatever. Anyway, so you can use a Velcro closure. And if you're going to do that, I would put the two pieces, you can get them in these like little dots, put them together and then adhere one side on here and then figure out where you want it to close and then stick the other side down and just hold it for a minute. And that will make sure they both stick really well. Or you can use the little magnets, and I would do the same thing. You stick the magnets, put the magnets together, stick it on one side, and then take the sticky stuff or put your adhesive on and then stick them together like that. But we are going to do the belly band like we did on the other one. So all you want to do for your belly band is hold your paper about halfway down like that, and then just make a crease and another crease where that one goes around. We're going to sharpen that up a little bit. So and then we're just going to snip that off with a pair of scissors. So you have just a little bit of an overlap. Snip it off like that, and then put your adhesive on this end. Actually, you know what I want to do first? I want to fold these a little bit better. So where you made those creases, just line that up so it's straight and press it down. Now, you don't have to, I mentioned this in my last video, you don't have to have a bone folder. They're not expensive, but hey, one more thing to buy. You don't have to buy one. These scissors don't necessarily work. They've got more of a rubber, which you can use like a pair of plastic scissors like this, and you can use that as well if you don't have a bone folder. I've had mine for quite some time, so I try to remember to use it. And this crease isn't quite as... You could score this if you wanted to, but honestly, there's not really any reason to do that. It's just such a small little crease. Okay, then we are going to wrap this back around just so that we get this. You don't want it too tight because you want to be able to slide that out, but you also don't want it too loose either, right? See, and the reason I would make this just a little bit narrower this way is because when you try to put it together, everything kind of slides around a little bit. And then just line that up and stick it down. And then to cover that up, let's see, that one came apart. We're going to use the little birdhouse. And we are going to put a little more adhesive on here because it's not wanting to stick very well. This is a sticker, but I want to use it a little bit more like a die cut. So we're actually just going to run some tape down the back of it like this. I mean, if you have a die cut you want to use that doesn't come with the kit, you could do that. But this is just going to cover up that seam. And it's a cute little, I think it's a birdhouse. So there you go. There is your little Post-it note holder. Like I said, I would probably make it just a little bit narrower on the top. If I do that, I will try to, I'll try to figure that out and get some measurements for it. So just so that the Post-it notes would fit just a little bit better in there. So I followed directions that I found. So I followed her directions exactly. So now this doesn't want to go back on. So it's possible that the Post-it note pads that she was using were thicker than the ones that I have. Mine came from Amazon. It's possible that if you buy them at Staples or something, there, because I know the woman who made this, she got hers at Staples. So anyway, there you have it. I will also post all the measurements. I do have them written down, but I scribbled a couple out, so I will rewrite those and take a picture so that I can post that for you. So you'll have all the measurements. So if anybody makes one, be sure to post a picture of it. You can either put it in the comments here, or better yet, post a picture of yours in the group so that we can all see it and see what it looks like. You know, obviously, we'd love to see you use this kit if you have it. If you don't have this kit, you can use any kit to make any of these projects, really. So we're just trying to show you how we are using the January kit and giving you some ideas for some things that are different and a little bit maybe out of the ordinary. So thank you so much for joining me. And I will be back before too much longer with some more projects for you.